256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Hey, pleasant good Thursday evening to you. Welcome into the drive here live from Baumhower's Victory Grill. Along with Wes Neighbors, Steve Moulton here with you as we walk you up to pregame of the UAH Chargers as they get set to take on the Choctaws of Mississippi College. And as soon as I am done here, going to dart over to Spraggins. Would love to see you on campus over at UAH tonight. And what is another big one for the Chargers as they are in the middle of a 3-game homestand. One on Tuesday night, 77-73 was that final score. And still an opportunity for the Chargers to host in the quarterfinal round of the Gulf South Conference basketball tournament. Now, in order to do that, they have to win tonight, and they have to win on Saturday against Delta State. Incidentally, the Saturday game will be on Zone 2, which, if you don't have the app, you need to get the app. Just download it. Just search 977 ESPN in your Google Marketplace or your Apple Store, whichever the case may be. And
it's free.
And it's free. Yes. How are you, Wes?
Doing great, Steve. How are you?
Doing real well. It's also a big weekend for Auburn basketball. A couple of big SEC basketball matchups. But Auburn is at Tennessee this weekend. Had an opportunity to talk to Bruce Purr earlier this afternoon, and here is that back and forth.
Pretty quick turnaround with Tennessee. I think this is one of the better Tennessee teams we've seen since 2019, which I think was the best team we had seen since I've been in Auburn. That 2019 team was one of my favorite teams from a standpoint of having great respect for an opponent. This team here is I think equally as good. The difference this year's team is actually better defensively. They turn you over, they steal the ball from you. They put a lot of pressure on you. They fly around. This is one of Rick's better defensive teams, and make it pretty difficult for you to run your stuff with steals and turnovers and forcing you to play a little faster, holding the score down. So that combination with an offense that is like really, averaging like 20 assists a game or something along those. That's not true. 16 or 17 assists a game, which is 20th in the country. So they do a great job of attacking closeouts and playing the right way, sharing the ball, screening. And they put some very interesting lineups out there. They'll put 4 guards out there at times. They'll put 2 centers out there at times. And they'll put 3 point guards out there at times. 3 very, very different looks that you have to be able to adjust to. Tennessee, last thing would be they play as hard and as physically as anybody, and I think, in our league. So it'll be a great challenge for us. Championship caliber game.
I did want to ask you about facing a team that's undefeated at home this late in a year and what kind of challenge that is to kind of more or less for your team to take that next step heading into March.
Well, I would think that like playing Tennessee at Tennessee would be as difficult as winning a Final Four game. I mean, that's what it would be very much equated to. Then we got to go to Mississippi State, and that's going to be like winning a Sweet 16 game maybe. So you want to be playing against great teams at the end of the year because it's a great barometer for where you are. Just from a standpoint of even the math, playing Tennessee on the road would be the biggest net gainer, if you could get it, of any game we played all year long. and we've got some great wins, but because of how tough they are at home, how well they shoot the ball at home, how well they share the ball at home, that's going to be we're absolutely going to have our best afternoon of the year.
That is my back and forth with Bruce Pearl from earlier today. It is a bit of a quick turnaround for the Auburn Tigers, fresh off of a win last night against Ole Miss, and now they will turn around on Saturday and take on the Volunteers up in Knoxville. So, and incidentally, Tennessee 14-0 at home this year. And the
no doubt will be their biggest win.
Yeah.
I mean, beating an undefeated team at home. Now, is Auburn wrapped up the
regular season?
Yes.
No.
So if they lose to Tennessee and Mississippi State and Kentucky wins out, Kentucky would win.
They would. So they've got the head-to-head win over Kentucky. They only played one time this year, and it was at Auburn, and they won that game. So they would have to lose more than Kentucky would.
Did Kentucky end up winning last night?
They did. They beat
were
LSU.
Down behind.
Well,
they were behind big.
Yeah, they ended up pounding LSU pretty good in the second half.
Wow.
So they kind of cruised at the end of it right there as Kentucky just hit the gas pedal, led by Oscar Sheboy. This just in, he's pretty good. We have not in a while checked in on our good buddy Colin Cowherd. Yesterday, the subject of Nick Saban and retirement was brought up on the Herd with Colin Cowherd. The floor is yours, Mr. Colin Cowherd.
I did love this Nick Saban quote from Alabama. He's not interested in the empty abyss of retirement. This is a discussion. I think about this all the time. Like, my dogs nap all day. They don't want to hang out with me. My wife's busy. She's not going to hang out with me, and I'm not a hobby guy. I always think hobbies are for people that chose a career they don't really truly love, so they're looking, they want to go golfing or play bridge. I like doing this more than I like golfing or playing bridge. But the more experienced you get, the easier it gets. So you accumulate all this knowledge. As long as you're curious and not rigid, and you just keep evolving and adapting to all your knowledge, you're going to be facing younger people that have fewer and fewer, smaller and smaller levels of experience. So every year Nick coaches, he gets more experience. And as the coaches get younger in the NFL and college, they have less experience. So it gets easier to win for Warren Buffett at 91 or Nick Saban at 70 years old or Clint Eastwood's directing movies. Now, there does become a point when you get into your late 80s and 90s. Cognitively, it's a little harder. But like Nick Saban right now, he's coaching against 29-year-old position coaches, 32-year-old coordinators. It is a checkmate before those games start half the time. You look at Coach Krzyzewski. Coach K is leaving Duke. Roy Williams left Carolina. They were still winning at the end. I mean, Duke's got a really good team this year. I believe both those guys are retiring because college basketball is so transitional. I mean, literally, you think college football's got a transfer portal. College basketball's that times 10. It just wears them out. You threw in COVID. You didn't know what games were happening. I've known some college basketball coaches. Last couple of years have been a circus. It's just not fun anymore, whereas college football is still fun. I think Coach K and Roy would stay for another 5 years, but the sport's changed, and it's just hard to coach right now. But, if you're in any field and you get older, as long as you're curious and don't block out new information and new experiences, it's on you, it gets easier. My job's easier than it's ever been. Seriously, this is the easiest it's ever been for me to just talk, have different platforms, surround myself with good people. As long as you're open to new stuff and you don't, you're not rigid and stuck in your ways and you're not going to evolve as, platforms in life and college football evolves. You stay current. Nick Saban, by the way, article in New York Times years ago that when Lane Kiffin came, he changed his belief that he could no longer stop people. and he became more of a spread offense. He hated it. Here's a great example. Coach K hated the one and done. But he evolved and said, well, the team's beating me of one and done players. Bobby Knight wasn't smart enough to ever do that. Bobby Knight was too rigid, too much ego. He could never embrace the one and done. Could never do it. Too much ego. Krzyzewski's got an ego, but he was like, okay, there's this new cultural change. It's beating me. I'm going to change. Saban similarly did not get rigid. He said, oh, my God, the spread offense, 4 wide. The rules are changing. The middle of the field now is all for offense, not defense. So Nick's like, we're going to speed it up. We're going to have great offensive players. Alabama 6 years ago was known for linebackers and corners. Now they're known for quarterbacks and wide receivers. So with both Krzyzewski and Nick Saban, arguably Nick's the best college football coach ever. Krzyzewski's got 500 more wins than John Wooden, so he's the best college basketball coach ever. The key to them wasn't anything other than they used their experience advantage over younger incoming coaches and evolved when cultures changed. I mean, if you want to live in 1980, knock yourself out. But Saban and Coach K, it's the same secret sauce. They pushed back initially. Nick hated Chip Kelly's offense. He thought it was, I talked to him privately about this. He hated it. He said the game's too fast. Our officials are in their 50s. They can't keep up. They're missing too many calls. But in the end, the culture changed. And Nick said, all right, let's go put all our efforts recruiting offensive guys as much as defense or more. And it worked. So, yeah, I mean, Saban's right. It's. I think he looks at it on a week-to-week basis. And I think if you ask Nick privately, he would roll his eyes and say, look at what I'm coaching against. Outside of a few exceptions in that conference, game to game, week to week, I think Nick Saban says, why would I retire? Look at what I compete against. These guys don't know what they're doing.
Oh, man. Coach Saban's last year. That guy's never right. It's the worst news I've heard.
Do you think it's easier for Nick Saban today than it was 15 years ago?
I don't know. You'd have to ask Nick Saban. But I don't
buy that.
The guy has a 4 hour. Hasn't he talked for 4 hours?
I don't know. I think it's a 3 hour show.
I can't believe he compared himself to anybody, much less Nick Saban. That's what he was saying.
Yeah, he sure did. Yeah.
When you make up most of what you're saying, it should be easy.
It's easier for him to make up stuff today than it was 15 years ago.
I mean, I don't know.
That's
the worst news I've heard yet. I was having a good day till then.
I can always count on our boy Colin Cowherd to come up with a gem from time to time.
It's unbelievable.
I can tell I genuinely made your day worse.
Oh, man, there's no question. I mean, he's never right. He's always wrong. I mean, how many times have we played him and he's been absolutely wrong? He's the one who said it was a done deal, Nick, going to Texas.
That's right. Yeah,
he has never been right about it. I mean, example upon you always play him when you know he's going to be wrong. Anyway, remember his defenses were. He was totally.
Oh, my favorite was when we first started back in 2013. How Gus Malzahn was just going to lap Nick Saban, leave him in the dust. Oh yeah.
He had more success against anybody else, but he just.
Yep. The dynasty is done.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I just know every time he's always wrong. So. This might be Coach Saban's swan song.
Thanks, Colin.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Colin.
Kiss of death. It's be a sad day when he leaves for me.
Well, it should be a sad day for all college football fans.
But it's one thing for sure. They're always
because he has elevated how college football is coached, evaluated, implemented, nutrition, academics, everything.
It's totally. He is
for all the books that have been written about Nick Saban. I have yet to read one sentence about academically how much that has changed.
Well, he's changed all football academically.
Yeah,
he started really at LSU doing it, making sure they go to class and holding them accountable. and really saving a lot of these young men's lives. They just don't realize it. They will in the end. You always look back and realize, why people were doing certain things. Maybe you didn't understand that.
So there has been a handful of people to interpret what he said last week at the Alabama football coaches convention, that he was throwing some guys under the bus. The 3 that he's unnamed, that he was throwing them under the bus. I didn't really take it that way.
How's he throwing them under the bus? You watched the film, everybody knew it. They complained all year. They weren't playing. Then you play, and then they're running the wrong routes, not catching balls dropped. Alabama dropped 3 touchdown passes.
Yeah, they sure did.
And fell down on another one.
Well, that first drive out of the gate when Billingsley went down on the 5-yard line.
He was wide open. Just fell.
Wide open.
Go watch him try to block people. That was ugly.
Little did we know that under the jersey there was already a Texas.
Yeah, left the next day.
There was a Texas T-shirt.
You want to get really weird is the head defensive analyst that's in charge of the game plan left and went to work with the defensive coordinator who got the head coaching job at Oregon the next day.
Lanning. Wow.
I mean, that's really close there now. So, anyway. And I wouldn't think anything would go on, but
when one foot's out the door, the other's on a banana peel.
Yeah, I don't know. So, I'm not questioning anybody's integrity anywhere. Listen, it's all about maturity. You don't understand why people are doing stuff like I just said.
Yeah.
When you're 18 or 19 years old and you just got out of high school and you're the best athlete, nobody's even close to you. I mean, you can go half speed and destroy people. And then all of a sudden, you're not the biggest, you're not the fastest, you're not the best. And maybe everything's not going well. You find a lot of excuses. You're homesick, And then other people go, and they're not homesick. It's they're happy. I mean, they get it right away. Mm-hmm. And I think that one thing I think is bad is like a Guy Hall and an Alabama supposed fans twittering at him saying, we don't like you, this or this.
Oh, really?
I mean, and a Guy Hall is doing it too. So he's an immature teenager, though. Why are you doing it? Right? It's ridiculous.
Why is that helpful?
It isn't.
How is that?
It isn't. It's not. You're not pulling in the right direction. You don't even know this guy. You know, Coach Saban wasn't happy with him, but why do you care? I mean, maybe because you bragged to your friends how good he was going to be and he didn't, and you made you wrong, or were you just wrong to be bragging in the first place? So, I mean, you got to. Everybody needs to put things in perspective. Listen, I've been critical of the guy, but I'm not tweeting at him.
Well, you're not tweeting, period.
Yeah, that's why I quit.
I did get a tweet. I am Steve Moulton. I am still on Twitter, Moulton. Got a tweet. If anybody can kill the Colin curse, it's Nick Saban.
That's a good point.
So
good point. That's a good tweet.
That's a positive tweet.
Yeah, I just don't like all these people out there. Like the guy that was tweeting Drew DeArmond. Got him so riled up, he was tweeting. I looked at his account. He had one friend. It was Drew DeArmond. So, I mean, he was giving him I just said to block him. Don't argue with people. It's not. Life's too short.
Drew will be with us
That's
here.
My best example, though.
Drew will be with us here in hour number 2, live from Baumhower's Victory Grill. Also joining us today in hour number 2 will be the one and only Enos Watley. We will talk to
Enemo about that time of year.
It is. So reached out to Enos, and he is going to join us in hour number 2.
He lives in D.C.?
He does. So he will join us for him in the 7 o'clock hour, for us in the 6 o'clock hour. But we'll talk some Alabama basketball as Bama, really, if you take a look at their schedule, the only game that they could afford to lose and they would still be securely a 5 seed is the LSU game, which is the final game of the regular season, which is a week from tomorrow. And then we head into the SEC tournament the following week.
Who do they play Saturday?
And that is a good question. It's, you know what? It is on the calendar. So let me bring up the calendar. They are playing South Carolina, a home game against the Gamecocks, and they have been playing really good basketball here lately. Scrappy team. I saw a little bit of their last game, and what was a win. So it was they're a good team. That ought to be a decent game. And Alabama, incidentally, next week plays on Wednesday. It's a home game against Texas A&M with pregame starting at 5 o'clock. So we will be out of the box next Wednesday. And then the final game of the season at road game at LSU. But a big one for the Auburn Tigers as we started out hearing from Bruce Pearl. And Tennessee is so multiple in how they attack you, be it with bigs or with guards, and they're a different team at home as well. And I think Thompson Bowling holds 17,000 plus, and that place is going to be packed on Saturday. That should be a fantastic atmosphere.
Yeah, probably the game of the week, I would think.
That game is on ESPN. I want to say that Arkansas, their game is the CBS game because Arkansas takes on Kentucky, and that is a really big game too.
But I would rather watch Auburn, Tennessee myself.
Yeah, I'm with you. So that is what is on deck. As if you'd like to join us in hour number 1, it is wide open for you at 256-576-4977. If you'd like to join us, let's take our first time out. We'll be right back here live from Baumhower's Victory Grill.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Get your Ford your way today. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we've got F-150s in stock right now. We have F-150s on the ground so you can climb behind the wheel and take a test drive today. Plus at Woody Anderson Ford, our 2021 F-150s come with $1,000 in bonus cash, along with financing as low as 0% for up to 60 months with your good credit. This offer ends February 28th. To be clear, these F-150s are in stock today, ready for your garage tonight. Now let's talk about making a custom factory order. Not only is there no extra cost to custom order, but you'll get $1,000 off MSRP on top of any additional factory rebates on 2022 F-150, Explorer, Ranger, Expedition, and Mustang. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com and you'll see how easy it is. And speaking of easy, our service department is now offering free pickup and delivery when it's time for your next Ford service. Ask about it at Woody Anderson Ford, the corner of Jordan and Sparkman. Look forward to seeing you.
Mark and Henry McDaniel, attorneys at law, are proud alumni of Madison Academy, and Madison Academy is proud of them. They have served our community through their practice, through volunteerism and service on national, state, and local boards. They explain the complexity of critical court rulings on local media. Their successful practice has been built on integrity. Both are veterans of MA Athletics and proud sponsors of Mustang football. McDaniel and McDaniel, attorneys at law. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by the lawyer.
Hey there, Bob Baumhower here. Baumhower's Victory Grill is your big game headquarters all fall long. And with our new fall features, every day is game day at Baumhower's Victory Grill. Try our pregame starters, including our homemade onion strings, always fresh hot lips, and our all-new Buffalo Dippin' Chicken appetizer. Our main events include incredible chicken, fish, and shrimp selections, always featuring local Alabama Gulf seafood. And don't forget our Sunday Blitz, 11 to 6. Baumhower's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at WoodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Back here at Baumhower's Victory Grill, along with Wes Neighbors. Steve Moulton back here with you. Phone lines open to you at 256-576-4977. We'd like to hear from you here on a Thursday, walking you up to pregame for UH Charger basketball as the Chargers are at home to the Choctaws of Mississippi College. And speaking of some hoops, the Final 48 is set as the finals of the regionals have set the field completely. Congratulations to Decatur Heritage. They are the 1A boys semifinalists as they'll take on Brantley in 1A. In 2A, the Section Lions are moving on. The Section Lions moving on in the 2A boys semifinal as they'll take on Lynette. Mars Hill Bible, they are quietly, I guess not quietly anymore, they are starting to build up some athletic programs over there in the Florence area as they take on Highland Home. Mars Hill is 14-16 on the year, Wes. That's called winning the right games.
Yep, absolutely.
The Pisgah girls also move on in 2A girls semifinals. They'll also take on Lynette. And on the 3A level, Plainview is taking on, I'm guessing it's Houston Academy. It could be Houston Academy, but I'm going to guess it's Houston Academy.
It is Houston Academy.
Well, I will never forget my very first play-by-play gig. I was calling a game between Warner Robins and Houston County. And inside the first time out, the PA guy comes over and says, "It's Houston County." So every time I see Houston.
I get it. That's funny.
The 4A goes to Haleyville. They'll take on Escambia County in the boys' semifinals. Over in the girls, it is New Hope. Always hoping New Hope. New Hope taking on St. James in Class 5A, Leah Huntsville. And let me tell you, the comeback for the girls, they were down by 9 entering into the final quarter. They'll move on to take on St. Paul's Episcopal. The Gunnersville boys also moving on. Make that the Gunnersville girls. That's my mistake. I can't read today. Gunnersville takes on Charles Henderson in the semifinals, and the Lee girls take on St. Paul's. The Lee boys take on USM Wright. There is a lot of local representation is what I'm getting at here. 6A, I mean, do we just hand the trophy over to Hazel Green? Hey, Hazel Green is 33-0 on the year as they head down to Birmingham in the Hazel Green Invitational down in the Magic City. On the boys' side, on 6A, it's Coleman taking on Park Crossing. The other half is Miguel Tulin taking on Huffman. And on the 7A level, congratulations to the Jets of James Clements as they just ousted the defending 7A champs, and they'll take on Baker in the semifinals. The other half is Spain Park, the team that ousted Huntsville, as they'll take on Enterprise there in that semifinal. So congratulations to all of the local teams that are fighting for maps down in the Birmingham area in the Final 48. A couple of people waiting on hold. Let's talk to them, shall we? I asked for phone calls. You delivered. John is first up out of the gate. How are you, John?
Good. How you doing, Wes? Steve?
Doing great.
Doing well.
Hey, Steve, I had a couple questions, but first I wanted to talk about Alabama basketball, but and then I wanted to see if you remember a player back in 1966. He was my coach at the Brewer High School, guidance counselor, Wayne Trimble, quarterback. Is he still alive?
You know, I don't know the answer to that question, but I remember Wayne. I'm not sure if he's alive or not, to be honest with you. Well, we will find out.
Okay. And then Alabama basketball, they seem like they can play with anybody on the running gun level, but it seems like they got a little bit of problems posting up in the paint, kind of defensively and crashing the boards, and making silly turnovers. Watching them playing against Vanderbilt the other night, if they clean up the turnovers, I believe they can make a real nice run into deep into the tournament. But,
hard to disagree. Nate Oates is trying to figure out the 5 defenders he wants out there on the court, so that it did look a little herky-jerky at times, but he's looking for the 5 hardest players that will play his style of defense out there.
What was the deal with what was the deal with GQ or Quinterly not starting the other night?
Well, that's called a motivating tactic by his head coach.
He's been rotating them all year. Quinterly asked to go to the bench, and then he started against Auburn down there a couple games later. I think he's just taking the hot hand, or whoever needs to maybe come. Quinterly came off the bench last year and did so well, and I think Quinterly gets tired. I've said that all year. I still,
You still believe it?
Yeah.
He did look tired against Vanderbilt.
Yes, he did at the end of the game.
Yep.
But about Wayne Trimble isn't still alive. He's 77 years old.
Yeah, I know he lives. He's from Coleman.
Originally from Coleman. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But what
was the number 4th pick of the San Francisco 49ers?
Really?
1967 in the 4th round at 91st pick.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Appreciate the phone call. Grumpy is on line 2. What do you say, Grumpy?
Hey, not much. I guess I could Google this, but you guys are more fun than Google.
So, there you go. There's a promo for you, Smokey Mike. More fun than Google.
What do you do?
Yeah.
He needs to play that today.
I think Birmingham Stallions, I think it's an opportunity to get the Florida fans, the Auburn fans, the Alabama fans, the Tennessee fans, and everybody, and maybe not Tennessee, but everybody can root for the same team for a change. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to hate on them. I'm going to try to get into it just a little bit. The quarterback that they drafted, what do we know about him?
Which quarterback is this?
For the
I guess
USFL,
yeah,
Birmingham.
Yeah, I guess they drafted one last week.
Yeah.
Do we know anything about him?
I don't.
Okay.
I've been stuck in basketball world.
Yeah.
And
Can't know that.
Yeah. I'll be happy to look into it. This is honestly the first phone call of anything that has asked about USFL, which that's fine.
Yeah.
We got plenty of football down in Birmingham to deal with.
Yeah, and I saw where they were drafting differently. I guess you guys may have read or seen that.
Yeah,
I
saw
that.
They
did just quarterback the first
positions.
round.
They're doing like
I thought
B.J.
that was
Emmons
pretty cool.
was just drafted, and then the quarterback for Auburn, which is weird, which I'm about to get to the weird part. Who was the quarterback that was really, really fast? He used to run the revert. Oh
gosh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he was drafted, and so was B.J. Emmons, and they actually both played for FAU at the same time. So two of FAU players end up, the first pick.
So there's no Johnny Manziel, is there?
No.
I hasn't seen Johnny yet.
Okay.
Bo Jackson actually announced the draft. Did you know that? The player, yeah.
What's that?
I mean, you're missing it, Steve. The USFL is getting a lot of interest, and it's all the teams are in Birmingham.
Yeah, and I think it's an opportunity. I mean, when do you get the opportunity to get into another team? You know what I mean? This one's like, it just drops into your lap. Why hate it? You know what? I'm not saying that Steve is hating it. I'm not implying that at all.
I'm not
Steve's
hating it.
And it's basketball season. I get it. I get it. But my friends, I get a lot of feedback from my friends about, the USFL is going to be terrible. And I'm just like, why hate it, man? We can go to a nice stadium and get the club level seats, have the buffet, have the cold beer. And then, I know you guys are probably going to get a bus or a van together and give away tickets on the air, right?
Well, no question about that. I don't know about the bus and the van. We might be able to do that, but I know the tickets will have
beer.
Yeah. So this quarterback, Alex McGough, I guess is his name.
Yeah, from Florida International.
Yeah, from FIU. He was a 7th round pick 4 years ago in the NFL draft. Was with the Seattle Seahawks, Jacksonville Jaguars, and originally from Tampa, Florida. He's 26 years old. So.
Yeah, but it can be fun, man. We can hang a disco ball from the van ceiling. And
that's a must.
Yeah. All right, brother.
Hey, listen, you want to draw?
I got a quick question. Okay, Auburn says War Eagle, Alabama says Roll Tide. What are we going to say for the Birmingham Stallions, man? We need to come up with something. Thanks.
Well, what did they used to say? They used to say something.
Did they?
Yeah. A bunch of my friends played for the Birmingham Stallions. Joey Jones was one of them. He played for the Stallions.
You want me to get Joey on the line?
Yeah. Let's see what Joey. Where is Joey?
I don't know.
I don't think he's at Mississippi State anymore.
No, he is not at Mississippi State. Shea Patterson was the first overall pick.
Jackie Klein played for him.
The former Michigan and former Ole Miss quarterback is now a Panther. The other quarterbacks selected in the draft include another Ole Miss quarterback in Jordan Tamu.
Yep.
He has spent some time in the CFL, but he is going to give it a go in the USFL. What are some other names? Brian Scott from Occidental College. Could not pick him out of a lineup. Ben Holmes from Tarleton State. I know that's Division II. And Clayton Thorson from Northwestern was selected by the Houston Gamblers. Stop if you've heard any of these names.
Well, I knew the first three you said.
Yep. Alex McGaw from Florida International.
Birmingham State.
He was the 7th-round pick of the Seahawks in the 2018 draft. Also spent some times with the Jags and Texans, so he is looking to hone his skills. Kyle Lauda, I know that name, the Richmond quarterback. He went to the Senior Bowl back in 2018. In fact, Wes, he sat down with us.
He did?
He sure did, yeah. And is now a part of the Pittsburgh Maulers. Impressed quite a few folks down in Mobile, but just needed to, what was the term I heard over and over about Kyle? It was very raw, I believe, is what the exact
where it
terms.
has the arm but didn't have the experience.
Yes. And then Kyle Slaughter from North Colorado is picked up as well by New Orleans. So those are your quarterbacks, at least the first round of the USFL. But, they start in mid-April? So we still got about a month to find out more about these 8 different USFL teams. And, yeah, of course, it'll be fun to follow since it's so close to where we are here in North Alabama. And there is still a strong rumor out there. And I checked on them today, and so far, Jerry Glanville is not in the state of Alabama yet. But apparently it's imminent, to use his language. So that would be yet another tie-in right there on us covering the USFL on a weekly basis, if not a daily basis. So, no, I'm excited to see what kind of brand of football and go through the rules as well of it. But I'm just kind of, right now, hip deep in basketball myself. That's me.
Well, it's almost basketball season.
I heard you say that earlier. 256-576-4977, the telephone number. And we do have basketball for you tonight with the UAH Chargers taking on Mississippi College as well. That pregame will start at 7. Incidentally, right now over on Zone 2, you'll be able to hear the women's game with Scott Tyson, who's calling that game right now over at Spraggins. Yeah, you just know everybody around here, don't you?
Well.
Scott Tyson is on the call right now over at Spraggins for the women's side, and he'll stick around and do some sideline coverage for us tonight right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. So those comments in particular by Nick Saban that I was referencing sounded like this from last week, talking with the Alabama High School Football Coaches Association.
But this is a good example, and this was a lesson for everybody on our team. All right, we lost the national championship game, all right, because basically, we had 3 corners out, both starters and the best backup. All right, so we're playing with some guys that didn't have a lot of experience, and it eventually got us in the fourth quarter. All right, and we had the kind of team where we had a really good quarterback, and we wanted to have skill guys that they couldn't guard. So we had 2 that were really, really good, Mechie and J-Mo, and they both got hurt. So now we were playing with guys that typically didn't have to play at those positions. So the lesson to be learned, whereas there were 3 guys, and I'm not calling out any names, all right, that basically didn't do the things they needed to do throughout the season, all right, because they were frustrated with their circumstance. And this is a story that you should take back to your team so players understand this. So they're frustrated with their circumstance because they're not playing as much as they want to. They're outcome-oriented. They want to worry about how many balls they catch or how much playing time they get or whatever it is. So they don't focus every day on being a complete player at their position, and they don't work and practice and prepare for the games because they say to themselves, why should I do this? I'm not going to play anyway. So we had 3 guys They all had a significant role in the national championship game, and not one of them, not one, could take advantage of the opportunity that they had. Because they never ground through it. They never made themselves the best player they can be, and when they got the opportunity, they couldn't do it. It's a lesson for everybody. What comes first? Playing time? Or making sure that you're ready to play and create value for yourself when you get the opportunity?
Now, if you listen to the full comment, I don't see how you could take that the wrong way. Now, if you just listen to a little snippet of it, then, yeah, you could probably twist that however you want to twist it in the wonderful world of Twitter. But, I mean, if you listen to that full minute 51, well, there's a few folks saying, don't go to Alabama because just going to get thrown under the bus by your head coach.
I tell you what, we don't want you there if you're not working hard. There's too many of us that came there and gave everything we had. Don't come. We don't want you. If you want to go try to win a national championship and be a team player, we're all for you. There you go with that.
Enos Watley will join us at the top of the hour. Let's take our final time out here in hour number 1 as the place is filling up here at Baumhower's Victory Grill. We'll be back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Joe Biden's disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan left Americans behind and cost the lives of 13 service members. Black Hawk Down veteran Mike Durant is alive today because his brothers refused to leave him behind. Durant has had it with the career politicians.
Why does Joe Biden disgust me? 13 dead in Afghanistan. 13 more Gold Star families because of him. Biden has spent his whole life in politics. And when our men and women came home draped in the flag, he had somewhere else he wanted to be. Time's up for Joe Biden.
President Biden is the one that deserves the shame. He's more concerned about his watch.
He obviously was doing the motion of checking his watch. I saw it.
Many of them said he didn't just do it once. He did it with almost every single family.
Send Joe Biden a message. Vote Mike Durant in the Republican primary.
I'm Mike Durant, a candidate for Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Durant for Senate.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed precision overhead garage door service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision overhead garage door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision overhead garage door service. Call 256-400-4500.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Thursday night, expect low temperatures to fall into the lower 40s. A few scattered showers will be possible as well. Gusty winds could also get as high as 15 miles per hour. For your Friday, a few isolated showers mainly in the morning, a gradual clearing to a partly sunny sky, high temperatures topping out in the upper 40s. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Roll Tide! Roll Tide! The journey for 19 begins this year. This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide, and we'll bring all the action to you right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Baumhower's Victory Grill, along with Wes Neighbors. Steve Moulton back here with you. The headlines of the day, certainly the one that is grabbing the most attention out of the gate, is what has happened at an HBCU. Grambling State has hired themselves a brand new offensive coordinator, and his name is Art Briles. And this has been one of the more weirder stories that we have covered through our tenure here, Wes, on that whole situation at Baylor.
In my opinion, this is my opinion, he was basically thrown under the bus by his college, who did a poor job of managing sexual harassment complaints and blamed the head coach. And then kind of blackballed him out of the. And it's good to see him get a Grambling State just got a great offensive coordinator, in my opinion.
Yep.
And he got a second chance, and everybody deserves a second chance. And the same people that were firing him and wanting to degrade him are the same ones saying the same thing I just said. So about other people. So to me, it's I hope he does well.
He is replacing Ted White, who left Grambling State to become the new offensive assistant and quarterbacks coach for the Houston Texans. So, an opportunity for Art Briles, who was a head coach on the high school level around the Dallas metropolitan area.
And basically came up with a whole different system of how to coach. And
what Kendall is still
he still
OC
does it
at Arkansas.
And he's still doing it. It's supposedly a simplified system for quarterbacks. And you know, I don't quite understand it, but it's like a number system. Very interesting. I'd like to get into it one time with somebody. But, you know, I'd rather run the inside trap. You know, I mean, that's.
You a delay guy?
It didn't matter. I just wanted to run the ball. And I used to get really frustrated when we couldn't run the ball because it can be little things, can be off the back, went a little bit the wrong way. Offensive lineman didn't step off with this, the right foot, or get some bad habits. And
so what's harder to do, pass block or run block?
It depends on who you're playing against. I look back now, and some people I would, like a guy I had the most trouble with, and part of it's what they told me to do, and part of it's the guy was really good. And with my height, and if I played a real tall guy, sometimes you had trouble because he could grab you before you got him. And I played a guy from USC, and he beat me a couple times. But on the run, I would absolutely destroy him. So the second half, we just ran the ball, and I just killed him. So just, but normally you pass blocking it's just like to me, it was a playoff, especially if you're uncovered. But then you just help, but you still got the linebacker if he comes, and if it gets in the gap, then you slide. There's a lot of things go on, and that have to be everybody has to be put in the right place, or the play doesn't work, and then you can still have a guy just make a technical error with footwork and get you beat. I mean, you can be as strong as you want. If your feet aren't in the right place, you don't have a prayer. Those guys are big and really mean.
So we'll talk to Enos Watley coming up at the top of the hour and talk a little basketball with him. But before we talk basketball with him, Tom Abraham filled in a couple of days ago. To which we are all still trying to figure out the answer to this question that Jen asked Tom Abraham.
I was there. It was classic.
What do you do? This is doing a show. I'll have you know, this is doing a. What do you mean? What do I do?
That's a good question.
That's a great question. That's a great. What do you do?
What do you do?
Well, he was asking her all these questions, and finally she goes, "What do you do?" Oh, that's hilarious.
What do you do?
What do you do?
If you'd like to chime in to answer the question, what does Tom Abraham do? We'd like to get a definite answer on this moving forward.
Man.
I'm not sure if this is a topic on his show the last couple of days.
No, well, I mean,
I don't think so.
No.
I think he's moved on.
Tom's a huge asset for the station. But just watching the air come out of that when she said that, he was asking her all these questions. Finally, she goes, "What do you do?"
What do you do?
Where's Steve?
What do you do? That's going to be a permanent part of our show moving forward.
Yeah, no question.
What do you do?
Oh, man.
Some other headlines to pass along to you. Didn't get to this story the other day, but apparently Arnold Schwarzenegger is getting into the slap fighting championship. Are you into this? Slap fighting championship? Arnold Schwarzenegger has teamed up with YouTube star Logan Paul to launch the slap fighting championship coming up on March the 5th.
If I get to go first, I mean, I'm not going second. Let some big guy hit you upside the head,
So all I had to say to Smokey Mike was slap fighting, and I mean he was
lit up.
all in.
Oh, I think he's been pay-per-viewing at night.
Just all in.
He said something about a pillow fight too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I stopped asking questions. I didn't want to get technical with it.
There is a pillow fighting championship league. I kid you not, and it's weighted pillows that you. I don't know.
Weighted pillows?
Yeah, weighted pillows.
Put a brick in them and hit somebody with it?
I don't know.
If I get to go first, again.
Enos Watley gets to follow this, as well as we'll talk with Drew DeArmond coming up in hour number 2. We're live here at Baumhower's Victory Grill. What does Tom Abraham do? We'll find out.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
future, but assuming Aaron Donald doesn't retire, if Aaron Donald retires, throw them out the window. Like, this is all dumb. By the way, not speaking as a Seahawks fan, but go out on top, King. It's a great moment for you. Go out a legend.
Listen and subscribe to The Mina Kimes Show, featuring Lenny, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Saturday on ESPN Radio. The journey to the tourney continues when Florida State heads to Charlottesville to face Virginia. Coverage begins at 3:30 Eastern. WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. This is SportsCenter.
The top three teams in the West all in action on the road. The Phoenix Suns begin life without Chris Paul, suffering an avulsion fracture in his thumb in the final game before the break, and the injury is expected to keep him sidelined 6 to 8 weeks. There's 7 to go in the regular season. Phoenix does have a 6.5 game lead over the Warriors. Golden State is in Portland tonight. Memphis sitting third in the West. They're in Minnesota next out. In the East, the Nets play host to the Celtics, but Brooklyn still does not have Ben Simmons, nor will they have newest acquisition Goran Dragic. Still no Kevin Durant. Of course, the home game, so no Kyrie Irving. Brooklyn sitting right now 3 games under 500, 8th in the conference. And yet, according to ESPN Nets reporter Nick Friedel, the team still believes they can achieve their ultimate goal.
They absolutely believe they can still win a title. And that's the difference. You look at a team usually with this kind of record, who's had this kind of injury problems. They just traded Harden. There are distractions all over the place. But I was in that practice facility the last couple of days, and the optimism is everywhere.
Elsewhere in the NBA, the Hawks will visit Chicago next hour. The Bulls are tied with the Heat for the best record in the East. Cleveland is at Detroit. Cavs swingman Karis LeVert going to be out of 1 to 2 weeks. He's got a sprained right foot. All-star guard Darius Garland's going to undergo treatment and rehab for his sore lower back over the next couple of days. Another day of talks between Major League Baseball and the Players Association. Still no agreement on a new collective bargaining agreement. The lockout is approaching. Monday's deadline set by the owners to try to salvage opening day and a full 162-game season.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
I know that Golden State will be the favorite. There is something that feels special about what they're building in Memphis. I'm still riding with Memphis this year.
More from the guys Friday morning starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Back here at Baumhower's Victory Grill, along with Wes Neighbors, Steve Moulton back here with you. We'll have full coverage of the Alabama Crimson Tide. And the Alabama Crimson Tide this weekend will be taking on the South Carolina Gamecocks with coverage starting at 4 o'clock. Incidentally, at that same time, we'll have coverage of UH Charger basketball on Zone 2, also at 4 o'clock as we wind down the regular season in SEC play. Right now, it does appear that the Auburn Tigers are in the driver's seat.
Well, they control their own destiny, no doubt.
There is no question about that.
I think with the win tonight, they clinch at least a tie, which they win.
At Tennessee on Saturday, yeah, I think we'll do that. We're entering into the final week. As anytime we do talk basketball, we try to bring in Enos Watley, and he is kind enough to join us right now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. How are you, Enos?
I'm doing good. How you doing, guys?
We're doing real well.
Enimo, I got a son that is going to be the secondary coach at Maryland. Not far from.
I can hardly hear you. I can hardly hear you guys. You're breaking up on me a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
How about now?
Maybe he needs to call back because we're on the hard line, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we will effort Enos Watley back as I guess that was on his end, but he was crystal clear.
Yeah, I could hear him fine.
But Enos Watley, of course, played at Alabama from 1981 to 1983.
You know who he reminds me of a little bit? Is Pippen, with the way Pippen passes. I mean,
that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there wasn't a three-point shot back in the day, so he was trying to get it in, and he was one of the best passers I've ever seen.
I thought Scotty was like a hair taller than he was, but not much. Yeah, we're not talking about Scottie Pippen Jr.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Who
I was thinking about
Scottie Pippen Jr. I watched him the other night, and he has the no-look passes, the moves to get people out of place.
Do we have you, Enimo? All right. Enos, are you there?
I'm there, guys. How you guys doing?
We're doing good.
Good. We were getting comparisons of Scottie Pippen Jr. to you.
So, Enimo, who would you compare your game to with somebody in today's game?
Well, I've heard two people a little bit. I guess I wasn't as athletic as John Morant, but it was two people. Rondo always draw the biggest comparison to me. They said Rondo and I had pretty similar games, you know?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know that if you weren't looking, you were going to get the ball in your face if you weren't paying attention, no matter where you were on the court.
Yeah, that was one of my trademarks and a gift. You know, doing that, I just seen Bobby Lee down at the Baylor game at the 40th reunion. I didn't realize how it's been that long. And he was saying, anymore, my face is still pretty sore from you hitting me in the face until I got used to you.
We see Bobby Lee. In fact, we had Bobby Lee live on the air. We're at
we were here. We were here.
Yeah, exactly. And he ate 3 meals.
Yeah, I mistakenly invited Bobby Lee Hurt and said, you know what, the meal's on me. And then the meal just kept coming.
Yeah. He ate for 2 hours.
That was impressive.
Yeah, it really was.
It's only one Bobby Lee Hurt, man. It was good seeing him again after so long, man. We laughed and had so much fun, you know?
Oh, yeah. Well, he's, Hoss came that night, too, so we had Hoss telling stories on Bobby Lee. It was a lot of fun. So I was going to tell you, my son, one of my sons, actually just became the secondary coach at Maryland. Not in your area. Yeah.
At Maryland?
At Maryland. How far is that from you?
Wow. That is so close, guys. College Park, Maryland, probably about 15 minutes from me. I'm in Howard County. So it's about College Park's about 15 minutes from me. Real close.
There are a bunch of former Alabama guys there coaching. So you need to go. You need to go. Give me a call one day. Get my number from Steve, and I'll hook you up with Wesley. And you go to practice or something, or a game or something.
Do that, because I used to, when Gary was there, and a lot of the players, man, I'm familiar with. Back in the day, man, I used to, actually play and train a lot of guys up there, man. So College Park, like, really close. I surely would do that.
Well, let's dive into some hoops this year. How much of Alabama you been watching this year?
Based on the season that they had last year, I was following them a whole lot, because great job that Coach Nate Oates had been doing down there, man. They took the SEC by storm last year, and, I've really been following them real close this year, too.
So tell me your impressions of what you've seen out of this roller coaster ride this year.
Well, I think the inconsistency a little bit, has been up and down a little bit. I think if they can get some inside presence, man, I think it would change everything, down low, because I think Alabama's going to go as the guards go. Quinley and Shackelford, they're very solid guards, and I just think that if they could get somebody down low, and I was sharing with Quinley, had a chance to talk with him a little bit. I said, they're going to go as far as you take them and everything. So he seemed to, come in and out and been up and down, but when he plays well, I think they got a great chance.
It seems like to me, Enimo, he gets tired.
Yeah.
you watch him play, and especially against Vanderbilt, he was gassed at the end of the. And I've seen that in a bunch of games. They leave him in, to me, almost too long sometimes.
Yeah, he's definitely, he has the skill set. We were true point guards back in the day, but he wanted fewer ones, that can get the ball to other people and everything. And I think that they had, one more good playmaking guard. It probably would help, a whole lot and everything, because I think it would free a lot of things up for, other people.
How real is the wall? There is so much talk of players hitting a wall, and especially how long the college basketball season is. And I mean, it's longer in the NBA, but how real is that, and how do you prepare so you don't hit that wall?
Well, I don't think it's much they can do about it. That's why I think, when you get, more than one, good player or five-star player in, it really helps. Back when I played, you had Eric Richardson, Mike Davis, myself, and, a bunch of quality other guards on the bench just in case you got in foul trouble or either hit that wall, like you said. But playing in the SEC, man, that's a tough conference, man. And, you're going to have some up and down, because I can remember just times when we went on the West Coast, man, we was literally undefeated. I know it's crazy saying this 40 years later, but we come in the SEC, man, and we even had a little slide where, we like a Vanderbilt or Ole Miss could get you. So I believe you can hit that wall real quick in the SEC because of the talent.
So have you seen Auburn, and what is your impressions if you have seen Auburn?
I have seen Auburn. I think they're a very, very talented bunch of guys and everything. I think that they can be beat. Of course, I'm an Alabama fan, but from the emotional part, I believe that from Bruce Pearl, he does a great job, and I think they play with a lot of emotions, but I think they definitely one of the teams that could win it all, along with Kentucky. And I even like Alabama getting there, but if they had a couple more pieces, I really do believe that Auburn definitely got an opportunity, to cut the net down if they play well at the right time.
Jabari Smith is at least the guy that's gotten the most press, and for rightfully so, for that Auburn basketball team, and comparisons to Kevin Durant, and that's pretty lofty comparisons. What's your impressions you've seen out of Jabari Smith?
Well, that's a heavy load to take on, because Kevin Durant's a good friend of mine up in the Maryland area. I helped spoon feed him when he was coming up, but you see a lot of talent from him. I tell you that he definitely have a great upside. I think Auburn they got some forwards down there, man. Bruce Pearl, they really did a great job at recruiting, man. He bring them in and out, but the Jabari kid, I think that he's definitely talented and gifted. He's definitely getting a lot of pressure put on about saying he's going number one, and also being compared to Kevin Durant.
The top 75 anniversary team was named over the weekend, and one, did you watch the All-Star game? But two, more importantly, a lot of these names you played against, and I'm wondering if there's maybe a name or two that just kind of sticks out more than another on that 75 anniversary team.
Well, first of all, congratulations to all the guys that are on there. I always say, as me and my wife were watching the game, she is so funny. She said, your name should have been out there. I said, sweetheart, I played with 5 of the greatest players to ever play this game. And I said, I threw Michael Jordan, if I'm not mistaken, either 4 or 5 of his first, dunk that he ever had. But, man, it was incredible, man. Just the players, it's been 75 years, man, just to see how far the game have come with Stephen Curry, man, how he have just reinvented the game through his outside shot, man. This is just crazy to watch an all-star game, and you can see one guy shoot so well from the outside that everybody, the whole strategy in the game plan just gets switched to that. So, it was a great. I enjoyed it a lot. Not so much the dunk contest, but the rest of it I enjoyed.
Yeah, in terms of influence in the game, I mean, as much as the athleticism, Michael Jordan I mean, everyone was trying to dunk, but you couldn't dunk. But everybody thinks they can shoot threes.
Like I said, that when they talk about the arrows when we play and now that they're in, how the game has switched from outside, from inside when we played to outside, man. It really has. It's crazy when you can have an open 2-point shot, because, my game is predicated on penetrating and, getting the ball to other people. And you can have a great 2-point shot, but yet you're throwing the ball from under the goal back outside, man. I still hadn't figured that out yet, but, it seemed like that's the way we're going,
Well, these analytics were when it was really eye-opening when Alabama's coach went over.
Nate
Oates went over how if you shoot so many twos and all you shot was twos, you don't have a chance to win a game.
Yeah.
Based on the percentages, and to me, that's crazy.
It makes sense because I said it's a different era, and then I think the way the rules have changed, and he's probably got a good point there, but it's just different from when you're watching. It's more so as fans and for myself, I played the game at a high level and was more a playmaker type 2-point guard, but nowadays you almost seem like you have to be more aggressive and, just like a combo guard in order to even survive it in the league. Like, even with Alabama guards, perfect examples, it's no more really 2-point guards. It's guys that score the ball, a lot, and it really have reshaped and reformed the game a lot.
So in terms of driving the lane, I'm taking a look at some of these names of the big guys. How much does the business decision weigh in the back of your mind when you're driving it into Moses Malone or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Charles Barkley? How much does that weigh in the back of your mind when you have to drive the lane?
The reason I mentioned about rule change, first of all, you're not even getting to the lane without one of them knocking you down.
Do I need to mention Bill Lambier in that conversation?
Oh, my God. I remember, man, so many stories. I remember Rick Mahorn and Rulin played for the Washington Bullets on the same team, and I was this little 20-year-old guard getting up, pressing all the guards and giving them a hard time. And never forget, Rick Mahorn came. He said, "Now, anymore, I know you're a bad guard, but," he said, "I'm telling you, don't keep pressing up on my guards. I'm going to knock you out." And guess what happened, guys? I got knocked out by 2 big picks by Rulin and Mahorn, knocked straight out,
Oh, wow. Ooh.
Yeah. But the rule change, you weren't getting into the lane on those guys back then. See, to me, that's the difference in today's, play and when we play. You could literally hand check someone, and it's not that easy. Opposed to now, you had the freedom kind of like to with such talent and such gifted athletes, they can pretty much get what they want,
Yeah. It's definitely different, and you mentioned probably the guy that's changed the game more than anything there in Steph Curry, and it's really remarkable. His consistency from nearly midcourt is just I certainly didn't see it coming when he came out of Davison.
But you know what? You got a good point, because I didn't see it coming either. I played with his father, which was a great shooter, and Derek Curry. But my point of view, just from my perspective, I thought he was going to be too slow. That's just from my point of view. But hats off to him. That's why I said he's worked so hard at his game, and he's developed his game so well. And I think according to the rule changes, I mean, you talking about a guy that shoots that far out, man. People saying, was he overrated? I'm like, how could a guy be overrated when you are predicating your whole defense toward him to change everything? I mean, he literally got, everybody on defense concerned about him, man. And it just, it's just a tribute to how much the 3-point shot have reinvented, the game. Yeah.
There are certain guys that I think can play no matter the era. I think of a Kevin McHale, that I think he could thrive in today's game as much as he did back in his heyday.
But you got people don't realize, man. You got. I'm not biased, but I am a little bit. With the guys I played with back there. But I think you got several guys, man, that could have definitely played. But Michael, with their heart and their game work, him and Larry Bird and guys like that, man. I mean, come on, man. I don't think it's no comparison. Whether or not they asked the question, could they play could a LeBron play back in our days, and could like you said, a Michael or Larry Bird or some of the guys play, in the young days. I mean, without hand checking rules. That's scary with a Michael Jordan with no hand check rules. I couldn't imagine how many baskets he would have now.
Very good point right there. So which game do you like better, the NBA or the college?
I like them both because I get bored in the NBA because I've watched it a lot, and I know kind of like it's a game of spurts and momentum. When the guys kind of like on, the end of the coming out of the third quarter, and then in the end of the fourth quarter, they're going to try to make their runs. But I really like college basketball, just the excitement, because I think that you got so many great teams. It's so many teams I think got a chance to win it. The Kentucky, Auburn, the Gonzaga, and I think even if Alabama got hot at the right time, they could be dangerous to someone. But I like watching college basketball because, of course, I'm a huge Alabama fan because I went there and just want to see them play well, and also I want to see them get past more than the final 16. I would love to see that when that day comes.
Talking with Enos Watley right now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Did you ever have the opportunity to go one-on-one with Julius Erving?
Oh my God! Like I said. Not only Julius Erving, but Michael Jordan and Quinn Daly and Wes Matthews would play. Kevin Locker would have us play, 2-on-2 in practice. So, I never forget Michael's on the bus, and he was talking noise one time. And I actually, when I was with the Bullets, kind of stole the ball from him with a minute and 29 seconds left in order to seal the victory for the Bullets. And they was asking me, they was like, wow, how did you know he was going to make that move? I said, well, I practice with him every day in practice, and I know all this moves. But, hey, that league was something else, man. The talent we had back then, man, and the players were so great, man. It just was crazy. But I've had my share of battles with, guys with certain talents, playing with, a guy like Jordan, and playing with, just say on Orlando Words and Julius Erving. Yeah. I'll never forget Julius Erving coming in and just, man, one time I was with the Chicago Bulls, man, and this guy was in his heyday, man. He literally just jumped over our whole team, and when they took the photo, man, we all had our faces in the photo, and he just jumped all over,
Yeah. He was so smooth.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh my God!
It looks like he was doing it effortless.
Yeah, he don't get. Hey guys, he don't get enough credit, man, for how the game evolved, man. When I compare this kid to Alabama, with him, I wanted to get a chance to talk to this Davidson kid. I'm like, man, your greatest gift is your athleticism, and I think Dr. J's greatest gift, like a Dominic Wilkins, Dr. J, and Orlando Words, who I played with at Chicago. I think their greatest gift and talent is really their athleticism and jumping in the air,
Who is on your all-talking noise team?
Oh, my God. Yeah. Well, by far, Larry Bird would have to be number one. A lot of people don't know that. Definitely Michael Jordan, trash talking. Then a lot of people don't know that Rick Mahorn and a lot of other guys like that, man, and Charles Oakley, for instance, man, guys, Gary Payton. That would be my top five trash talkers. Back in my day, they let you know, and of course the great late Darryl Dawkins, which God bless his soul, he's gone. But man, those guys, man, they tell you now, anymore, if you come in here, we're gonna knock you out. It's simple as that, and they really do it.
Isaiah Thomas on that list.
Now, Isaiah was much of a trash talker. You kind of know that he could play, and you probably didn't want to get too much trash talk with him. I think one of the best point guards that ever played the game, just personally. But Isaiah didn't talk a lot of trash. Isaiah was just more of just a killer, just in his heart,
So did you go through? I imagine the Dennis Rodman you may saw was before the flamboyant Dennis Rodman.
That is so true, guys. I'll never forget seeing him for the first time when we were rivalries against the Detroit Pistons, and I'll never forget just seeing him play the first time when he was just hungry and just thirsty, just wanted to rebound and just get the ball out, man. He was incredible. I would call him a hybrid, like a utility guy, man. Just did everything, with excitement and emotion. But incredible player. But before he turned into the other guy, Dennis Rodman really was a pretty good player.
He must have missed a lot of passes, kind of like Bobby Lee Hurt did. He got hit in the head too many with basketballs, right?
Oh,
right. Yeah, he got better. He got better as he went on down the line. But I hear a lot of people say he could score the ball, but he was such an athlete, man. He could run the floor and just did all 5 components of the game so well. But he wasn't known for his offense, though. Yeah.
Always great talking hoops with you, Enimo, and we'd love to get you on once the brackets are revealed so we can maybe get an expert opinion out there for the Final Four that will come out here in a couple of weeks.
Hey, guys, love doing your show, man. Anytime you need me, give me a call, man. I look forward to it, man, and everything. And I'm hoping that Roll Tide roll. I'm sending this little prediction out right here. I know Auburn and crushed Alabama the last 2 games, but last 2 times they played. But I'm sending this little forecast out right here that when the SEC tournament round, I'm just gonna say, guys, Roll Tide roll. Okay.
Thank you, Enimo. Appreciate.
Okay, guys. Good.
Appreciate the time, sir. And that is Enos Watley joining us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, and yes, Larry Bird on the All Talking Noise team.
Well, yeah, everybody has. If you hadn't watched he was I really never liked him.
But if you noticed, all the guys that were on his All Talking Noise teams could back it up.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, you can't talk noise for long if you can't back it up. You might get to talk, if you don't back it up, you might get to talk noise once. But watching Larry Bird and those guys play in that time frame, they were incredible players. Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah. Parrish, McHale.
I mean, but I'm just talking
Dennis Johnson,
Magic Johnson, all those, and of course Michael Jordan. Talk about Dr. J. All those guys playing.
Yeah,
they were incredible players. And it just doesn't seem like they're quite the athletes. But I know they are. But it doesn't seem like the game is just different.
Nobody can cradle the baby quite like.
Well, I would give anything to have Larry Bird play against LeBron James. That's all I'm going to say.
That is Drew DeArmond. As we need to take our first time out, our final 30 with DeArmond comes up next. Here live from Baumhower's Victory Grill.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of no knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Alabama A&M University football. Stop into University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com and view all our great offers and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today, because we want to see ya in the Kia. Go Bulldogs!
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, "If you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself."
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Environmental Comfort Systems brings you our Final 30 with DeArmond. You can check them out online at envcomfort.com as we're live here at Baumhower's Victory Grill. And Drew, the most obvious place to start with you, sir, is Jaleel Hurley choosing Alabama, another 5-star heading to Tuscaloosa.
Well, you know, guys, I've seen him play against Huntsville High multiple times. He's been on the varsity since he was a freshman at Florence. He was really well coached last year by Wade Waldrop, who's moved on to Hoover. We'll see, you know, what Kenny Morrison can do coming over from Fayetteville City High School in Tennessee. But certainly he's an elite talent. He plays both sides of the ball. They don't really test him too much at corner. But he's a guy on reverses and on deep balls. He tracks the ball really well. He catches it really well. I've already been asked to compare him to someone else because of his uncommon size, and he is about 6'2". I would compare him to Dre Kirkpatrick.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say.
I don't know yet if he's quite as athletically a freakazoid as Dre. I mean, I watched Dre play Gaston City, intercept the ball, return it, and then do a somersault into the end zone.
Yeah, and he you know, and Dre was
was almost 6'3", really.
And he was soft when he first got to Alabama, and by the end was known for his hitting.
Yeah, he got toughened up.
Yeah.
I do like the physicality that I've seen Hurley play with. I think he's an elite athlete. I think the 5 stars, it's tough to say, but I think that's accurate, at least with his upside. He got tons of offers, and when you watch him move, I mean, it's just like smooth and effortless. I knew Nick Saban would target him early just because of Nick Saban's a DB guy, but you can't, much like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell are unicorns that grow on trees. They don't grow on trees. Mm-hmm. So are corners that are 6'2" and can move. And so I think, without a doubt, he was someone that Alabama knew was important. They recruited him hard, and you see all those athletes that come out of Florence. I mean, if they could ever find, Coach Waldrop, if he had stayed, I think would have built that into an elite program. But he he's an elite coach. He got a chance at one of the elite programs in the country. If Kenny Morrison can do what he did at Fayetteville City with those athletes and get everybody, rowing the boat in the same direction, Florence is kind of a sleeping gold mine football-wise. I think Jaleel Hurley's as good a player as I've seen come out of there, and so I think it was a good first, get for Alabama in what could be the most ridiculously loaded, senior class that I've ever seen in the state of Alabama.
That's what everybody's saying.
I mean, well, Wes, it's uncommon. I mean, there's so many defensive linemen. There's 5-6 defensive linemen that are 4- and 5-star, and Alabama needs D linemen. They went light on D linemen in 2022. They're going to lose some seniors next year, so they're going to need to load up again, and this is perfect timing. And Nick Saban didn't like the way some of his staff was recruiting, and that's why he made changes at the end of the season, because he doesn't like number 2. He likes number 1 despite of an ATM machine.
So, Drew, I'm surprised that there's not a service out there that takes all the people you lost in the portal, the talent you lost in the portal, plus the talent you got in the portal, add your recruiting class, and what do you have there? Because Texas A&M lost a lot of talent in the portal.
They did, and coming to the NFL, but they've kind of started doing that. If you look at 24/7 Sports, Chris Hummer does a great job of keeping you up to date on every 15 minute. I joked with him on the show, like you must hit refresh like every 15 minutes to see if anybody. But they rank the guys available. They rank the classes. They've separated that though. They'll rank a portal class and a regular class. You're going to probably have to eventually combine those.
I think you have to.
When would you do that though?
Well, you'd have
right now.
Well,
you can't.
I think you'd wait. I think you'd have to wait till
summer. But then you can update it in the summer. You can do it right now. It's not against the law.
Well, you could, but I think in Steve's defense, I think waiting till after spring practice is smart too, because Nick Saban did that last year with Jamison Williams, who ended up being one of the biggest parts of the team, because he looked at his squad and said, "Okay, there's nobody that can blow the top."
Why does Alabama not have more speed at wide receiver?
Well, I mean, I think that they recruited some guys, but maybe it didn't translate. Maybe some guys didn't work out. I'll give you an example. There's a guy on the team now. He hasn't transferred, but Tyu Jones-Bell hasn't got on the field. Something's not computing. Whatever. It's not working. Javon Baker wasn't working. I mean,
but he was a great player. He showed flashes.
Yeah, but
he stayed in trouble.
Yeah, always. So that's the problem.
That.
Some of your most explosive guys sometimes may not be your smartest guys, and so and it doesn't always equate like that. But I think in some cases that's what happened to Alabama when they noticed J-Mo go into the portal. Coach Saban had recruited him before, and he was like, "Well, this is a bounce back situation." See, in recruiting, that's how it's changed. You have to continue relationships with kids. When a kid spurns you the first time, you can't just say, "Well, the hell with you, we're going to dominate you," because he may be in the portal in 6 months and you can get him back.
Yeah, and you shouldn't do that anyway.
Well, you shouldn't, but I mean, in some cases, recruiting was so heated back in the day, that's how it would be. But now, you got to, as a matter of fact, what I've been told is Sal Sunseri, who has now moved off the field, as you know, Wes, you know him very well, one of his chief responsibilities is the assistant to the head coach, Nick Saban, and portal, Sal. You gotta keep me abreast of the situation.
Yeah, you got to be knowing
who's available and who can we maybe snag to make us better.
Right. So, and I think there ought to be an update in the summer, but it should be done right now, and then update in the summer. I mean,
he just doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to. You don't want to say I'm right.
Well,
no, you're not right, because what good does it do then? If you can have it now and then.
One of the most interesting developments is I know you guys have probably talked about it on here, is Tyler Steen, who played 3 years at Vanderbilt, 3-year starter.
Come on, Colin.
He has played, right and left tackle.
Don't make me replay that.
He's not going to graduate till May. He's doing an internship, but Alabama's already supposedly going to have him in for a visit to eyeball him, and Coach Saban will probably be. I still think the most watched position in spring is going to be the right and left tackle, to see if he thinks they need somebody to come in and be a 1-year plug.
The most intriguing of all the situations is down at Auburn.
Well, because every day, I mean, I kill your great player, okay? But they're telling me he's a great recruiter, and I'm going to get somebody on from Auburn tomorrow. I'm efforting to do that. But I double-checked it. He's never coached in college, so how is he a great recruiter? That's my question. I mean, he certainly coached on the pro level for a long time. He was a great player.
Yes, he was.
That trio that Florida had was the greatest until Alabama's came along. Okay? Now, I wouldn't tell that to Coach Spurrier. He'd have an aneurysm. But still, they were great. And Ike had a really nice pro career. So, but I'm just saying, he's never coached in the college game. Sometimes these dudes take to it like a fish to water, and sometimes these dudes are like, yo, I'm Freddie Kitchens, I'm out. Don't want to recruit. I'm out of here. And they don't want to do it.
Well, they don't want to put up with the egos either.
Well, right. I mean, and in some case.
But, I mean, so you're saying he doesn't recruit.
Well, I'm just saying he hasn't. So he may be great at it, but I don't know.
Right. But, yeah, it's hard to say he's a good recruiter if he's never recruited.
The great unknown.
Yeah, it's the great unknown.
I think that may be the umbrella.
Where did he coach before?
He was in the NFL.
He was with the Pittsburgh Steelers and twice with the Washington Redskins. He's been in the NFL for about a decade.
Yeah.
Well, they need to get some speed at wide receiver.
They need players, period, out there, man, because they're all going into the portal. I mean, even including their number one who went with Gus, like, you know, 3/4 of the guys that have transferred. I mean, you could call them the UCF Auburn Knights at this point. I mean, they could change their colors to orange and blue. There have been so many of them. I mean, but again, Austin Davis, that hurt Auburn too. He left. I don't think he liked the recruiting part. He only lasted a month. I think it was about to drive him insane.
Yeah.
And so that's, you know, what kind of you reading the tea leaves here. I mean, I think he's really good with quarterbacks, but he wasn't really good with being on the road the rest of the time. And recruiting is a grind.
So Lane Kiffin has dubbed himself the Portal King.
Well, he's one of them. I mean, they've got one of the better classes, and if this works, they can stay in the top half of the division. But the thing is, it's such a shark tank in the SEC West, it's tough to stay there.
Yeah.
Because Ole Miss wasn't even supposed to be there this year, and they finished second.
Yeah.
And an injury cost them a bowl game. Okay? But then said quarterback Corral moves on to the NFL. Going to be a first-round pick, in my opinion, or either a high second-rounder. And you need a quarterback. But luckily he got Austin Dart because anybody with a functioning brain could see what was going to happen when Lincoln Riley went to Southern Cal. I know Caleb Williams played this whole thing out like Aaron Rodgers, but he ended up at Southern Cal. You know, Aaron Rodgers ought to be staying at Green Bay. I mean, you can play it out and give Ed Werder a job, but eventually you know ultimately what's going to happen. The wise thing, you go play for the guy that recruited you and you already know his system. So,
is it smarter because we have seen the Rams win a Super Bowl off getting talent that is known talent. It's different, obviously, from portal of guys going into the portal. Is it smarter for these coaches because there is more tape on these players, and is it smarter to go into the portal out of the gate or pluck one straight?
I still think you have to build your program from the ground up. The portal needs to be to supplement your guys like what Alabama's doing. If you're having to do what Ole Miss is doing, no disrespect, I still think they can have a good team. I don't think you're going to win a national championship like that.
Because it's hard. You got to have a base.
You do.
You got to have a base, and you know, I think that you can do it with a portal, but I don't think you'll be consistently doing like kind of Drew's hitting at. Like you look at Tennessee, they built a team with a portal. They really did. I mean, they went out.
They did.
But I wouldn't want to have to do it every year. Sooner or later, you're going to end up like Kentucky was last year in basketball and not be any good.
Well,
in football, it's even bigger chance because there's more players. And
what it kind of is, and I'd like to even ask him this question. One day you guys will probably get him on the drive with all your relationships with coaches. But Jackie Sherrill built a program at Mississippi State through JUCOs.
Yeah.
Now, this is like JUCO on steroids because these guys are actually part of Power 5 programs.
Right.
How did you do that? Now, they didn't win a championship, but they were consistently good, though.
Yeah.
How did you balance that, recruiting high school players and then going and getting JUCO? But I think Jackie looked at the landscape in Mississippi, knew he could get some Mississippi high school players, but you've got that entire JUCO network in the state of Mississippi that you don't have in Alabama, and that he needed to be able to mine that and get good players that a lot of times were natives of Mississippi to stay home.
Tennessee, as Wes is talking about, went into the portal heavy last year. What do they look like this spring?
Well, you know, it's just going to depend on how much better defensively they can get. They really haven't been as active this year in the portal. Getting Hendon Hooker back was immense.
Yeah.
You know, they've lost Velus Jones. They've lost some of their receivers. They're going to have to, you know, kind of tweak that. But I think with I'm just going to go ahead and give Heupel credit for this. With his offensive system, I think it's more a plug with receivers as long as they find the right guys. And it doesn't have to be 5-star guys. It just fits for their system. They needed the quarterback, though. Hooker was the one that kind of turned the season around because he was the one that gave them the stability. I thought he played really well against Alabama, even though they lost going away in the fourth quarter. They played Alabama really tough for 3 quarters. He was one of – and I really think – defensively they wore down. They didn't have depth last year. Yeah. Really, that was the biggest reason they lost the bowl game. I don't really care about the officiating, all that crap. They couldn't stop anybody. So Tim Banks, those guys, they've got to get better pass rush. They've got to get better in the back end. They've got to be able. They forced turnovers last year, which was the biggest key to them getting to 7 wins. But now you got to get more stops. You got to get more stops from the standpoints of making the other team punt, allowing your team to get more possessions. Be better, again, more disruptive from a pass rush standpoint. I think Tennessee's going in the right direction. Beating Kentucky was really, I think, their biggest win of the year.
Yeah.
And now what's fascinating is if Liam Cohen, did that ever become official?
I have yet to see an official he's gone.
Right. So I'm sure Kentucky is probably trying to convince him to stay.
Because the Rams offered him less money than what he was making at Kentucky.
Well, that's just I know if you that to me that doesn't compute. To me, if I'm Liam Cohen,
he's making $1.2 million at Kentucky.
I'm going to have to stay at Kentucky until they up the ante a little bit. Yeah. I know it's the NFL and I know it's the Super Bowl champs, but you got
and the taxes in L.A. Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
So let me say this about the Tennessee game real quick. I'll disagree with Drew on this. If you stick the ball over the goal line and they don't call it a touchdown, it's impossible to win a game.
Well, that's the bowl game you're talking about.
Yeah, and the other thing is, if pass interference is one for one team but not for the other, you're going to have a hard time winning the game in today's now.
Well, they blew some calls. There's no doubt about it. I'm just saying Tennessee's just got to get a little bit better because I was surprised. I really thought they were going to win. I really thought they were going to win by 14-17. I thought their defense would play better than it did. I guess is my point.
Yeah.
So against Purdue,
but they had a bunch of pass interference penalties. I thought were bogus too.
Yeah. Well. And
that kept drives alive in that game.
Well, I can tell you this, just for my one little rant here, high school basketball. Huntsville High, I think we're on the cusp of picking us down. And we lost 60-51, okay? But there was 4 block charge calls. If 3 of them go the other way like it looked like they should have, we're having a different conversation here, and I'm making a trip to Birmingham. But it comes down to that sometimes. These 50-50 calls, same thing with pass interference. It just depends sometimes what kind of refs you got and the way they call it.
But the problem is you stick the ball over the goal line, it's a touchdown.
I'm just saying.
Any rule.
Hey, I think the guy was sliding. I think he was sliding under. That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to let them continue the debate here as we head into our final timeout. Philip, I promise if you stick around, we will get right to you out of this final timeout. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Get your Ford your way today.
Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we've got F-150s in stock right now. We have F-150s on the ground so you can climb behind the wheel and take a test drive today. Plus at Woody Anderson Ford, our 2021 F-150s come with $1,000 in bonus cash, along with financing as low as 0% for up to 60 months with your good credit. This offer ends February 28th. To be clear, these F-150s are in stock today, ready for your garage tonight. Now let's talk about making a custom factory order. Not only is there no extra cost to custom order, but you'll get $1,000 off MSRP on top of any additional factory rebates on 2022 F-150, Explorer, Ranger, Expedition, and Mustang. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com and you'll see how easy it is. And speaking of easy, our service department is now offering free pickup and delivery when it's time for your next Ford service. Ask about it at Woody Anderson Ford, the corner of Jordan and Sparkman. Look forward to seeing you.
Our customers trust us not only to find the right hardware, but to advise them on the technology that makes them more efficient.
My Next Level team researches and discovers real solutions. Check-in software, HR, digital signature, and workflow software. It saves you money immediately. We hold your hand and stay with you through the transition.
We're taking our customers to the next level in business process automation.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Bring that playoff intensity every day to our shows.
Bring it on, Chop. Let's go.
Okay, maybe just for Drew DeArmond.
Ding me.
Listen for Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew. Weekday mornings starting at 7 on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Closing time. Open all the doors and let you out into the world. Closing time. Turn all of the lights on over every boy and every girl.
Winding things down here at Baumhower's Victory Grill. Further demise has been of the Nick Saban program is now being confirmed by footballscoop.com, West Neighbors. He's your problem now. Todd Grantham, who's been a defensive coordinator at Georgia, Louisville, Mississippi State, and most recently Florida, could be joining the staff at the University of Alabama. It does not say in what role.
He'll be an analyst.
It's an analyst deal, man. Everybody knows if that's what's happening, it's an analyst, man.
Yeah, we're going to rehab him. He'll be.
I mean, Saban is in the past thought about bringing him on the on-field staff, but it didn't happen. But, I mean.
Why wouldn't Auburn look at him for a DC job?
Well, I think,
he likes recruiting too much.
I think Brian Harsin wants his guys in there, and Todd Grantham is not that dude.
Environmental Comfort Systems brings you a final 30 with DeArmond, and Phillip has held through the break, so he held up his end of the bargain. How are you, Phillip?
I'm doing pretty good, guys. How y'all doing tonight?
Doing well.
How are you?
Got a question I want to ask Rudy. What's my friend's fault? Oh, yeah. The Manning's nephew, who's in the running for him right now?
Well, I think Alabama, Texas, Georgia, but I'd like to know, where they stand now that Matt Luke, the biggest connection to the family, is gone. I've heard Clemson has lost traction as well. I think Florida and Billy Napier are trying to get involved because Napier just got there, and they're trying to sell him on an offensive, scheme that he was a part of at Clemson. but we'll see. But I would say that Alabama and Texas and Ole Miss are going to be prominent. He'll never officially eliminate Ole Miss due to just family considerations. I do think it's going to be hard for Lane Kiffin to get him, just simply because I've mentioned on these airwaves, I don't think the Manning family is a huge fans of Lane Kiffin. But the only two schools I'll guarantee he ain't going to is LSU and Mississippi State. And that's the two biggest rivals for Ole Miss. And certainly I know that, there's always – you never say never, but when those two situations, it's not going to happen. Because, again, there's politics involved in certain things. But I do think that Alabama's in the mix. But Alabama's also recruiting a prominent 5-star QB out of California whose name I don't know how to pronounce yet, so I'm not going to go there until I know. But anyway, I know they're heavily involved with him, as is Oregon and some other schools on the West Coast.
I would say he was leaning Alabama at one time, whether he is now.
Arch, yeah. And then the kid in California he just wore an Alabama towel to a camp, so that set off a firestorm. But anyway, Alabama's going to get a good quarterback. Arch may wait longer now to make his decision, so that will be interesting to see what Nick Saban wants to do. But certainly Alabama is in the mix for Arch.
That Bryce Young, he's going to probably, go declare for the NFL draft after this year, and if he came to Alabama, it would come down between him and the new kid, Ty Simpson, that's his name?
Yeah, and then don't forget Jalen Milroe, who's still down there busting it too. So it would be kind of a three-man race. The one thing interesting that I've heard about Arch, and you hear a lot of things, so you'd have to confirm it for sure, but that Arch, no matter where he goes, because if he went to Texas, there's Quinn Ewers there who didn't go there with his $1 million worth of NIL to set the bench again. So I think that the thing is, I think Arch would be open to a red shirt. And don't